victories, commitment, pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com. I'm Nick Bovey. When you're looking for news for Black America, go to News1.com.
Praise the Lord, everybody. We are back. Second half of an hour show. Anthony Miles, your Christian reverse mortgage answer man. We are here every Wednesday at 10 o'clock, but the third Wednesday of the month, we're on for a full hour. WL 1450 AM, 95.9 FM, 1-800-952-PRAY, 1-800-952-7729. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're at least 62 or you got a parent who is, that's the most important number that they need to take down to properly prepare for a successful retirement. 1-800-952-PRAY, P-R-A-Y, 1-800-952-7729. All right, we were heated up right before the break. Let's get right back into that fire. We were talking about the reverse mortgage, the hidden truths, the goods, the bads. The bank has purposely marketed the reverse mortgage as one in which you do not make a payment on. Don't believe me? Just turn on your TV, turn on your radio. I hear these ads all the time and I scream at the radio. It's hilarious. I'm driving on the Capitol Beltway and I'm screaming at the radio. And it's not because of the crazy news and politics that are going on. I'm screaming at these other loan officers and these companies. And you see the AAG ads and the LibWell, all these different ads. Henry Winkler, when Fred Thompson was still alive, with AAG, and what's his name, Tom Selleck or whatever, Magna PI. All these ads, and I hate it because this is what I hear. I hear a reverse mortgage could be a great option for a senior homeowner to, really enjoy their living. It's one to where they do not make a payment except their taxes and insurance. And I'm like, lie. You just lied. You just lied because you purposely withheld vital information. Okay? Vital information was just withheld from that homeowner. It's marketed that way because that's what the bank wants you to think, that you do not make a payment. If they told you that you got that full control we were just talking about, that's priceless, and you're just tuning in for the first time right now, that in a reverse mortgage, there is a payment that is made, but that payment is decided by you every single month. The amount and the frequency, whether it's $0, whether it's $500, whether it's $2,000, whether it's $5,000, whatever you want to pay, you can pay, and it knocks your balance down. And we went into why does the bank purposely market it to where you don't make a payment. They do not want you to know you can make a payment, because if you know you can make a payment in a reverse and that you have full control over these payments that are made, which means you're paying down your mortgage, that means you're taking away guaranteed. Remember, we said the federal government guarantees the bank no matter what. In a regular mortgage, there is no backer. There is no guarantee like on my mortgage. But in a reverse, the government backs the bank for that full amount. So they don't want you making a payment, because in a reverse mortgage, when you don't make a payment, it becomes a deferred loan. Now, if that's the way you want to do it and you can't afford to make a payment, then don't make a payment. But by gosh, you at least have the right to know what you're entitled to. Because there's many of you out there, like for me and my mom, we wouldn't have made a payment. We still would have decided $0. But we were not given that choice. But I talk to too many people every day that go, I would have made a payment. I would have. And that would have lowered their balance. But the bank didn't want them to know that. Here's how you got to think about it. Let's get into the bank's mind. We're going to put our greedy cap on. Our greedy cap of the loan officers, greedy cap of the bank. And think what they're thinking. And what they're thinking is hey, if the federal government is going to guarantee us, the bank, full payment, then why would we tell somebody to make a payment when we charge interest on the loan every month? which makes it a deferred loan if they're not making a payment. Like when I got out of school, okay, and it's really important that you understand this. When I got out of school, I could not pay back my student loans right away. So I went to the government and said, hey, can I defer payments? Can I not make payments for like 5 years? The government says, sure, no problem, Mr. Miles. You just came out of college. You got it. But in those 5 years, we're going to be still tacking interest on. I'm like, tack on whatever you want because I can't make a payment. So I had to go for that option. It was the best option presented before me, but I knew very well that interest would be tacked on there. What I didn't realize was that interest, compounded interest, accumulates at such a high rate of speed. So for everybody out there who's got a reverse mortgage or knows somebody who does, the number one complaint people always say is, my balance is going through the roof. And it is. My mom's balance is going up like $3,000 a month. That's crazy because it's a deferred loan because she's not making a payment. Because all those people out there, their balances are going so high because they're not making a payment. So interest is going on there on that full loan amount, compounded monthly, which is just making it skyrocket. And that's what the bank wants. In my regular mortgage, started out at $212,000, 30 years. When I make a payment, if I make $212,000 worth of payments, is my mortgage free and clear? No, because there's interest that goes on there. Because when you make a payment in a regular mortgage, you look at the statement and you go, I owe $212 and now it only went down to $211,800. Only $200 went down, but I made a $1,400 payment. What happened? Because the bank gets all that interest up front first. They put very small amount towards that principal. So for me, after 30 years of making payments, I will have made not $212,000 worth of payments, but around $500,000 of payments to the bank because that's the terms the bank have every single one of us under. Now, if you're in a 15-year, it's going to be less than that because it's shorter time, but you got higher payments, but less interest you wind up paying back to the bank. So the bank knows, hey, it's going to take some time, but this guy's making a payment every month, so we got it coming in. There's no guarantee, though. He could jump ship. If he jumps ships, we're on the hook. But if he doesn't, and he still pays us like he promised to do, we'll wind up making $500,000 from that loan. So it's a good deal for them. But a much better deal for them is this. If I was 62 and I had a reverse mortgage where my balance started at $212,000, where I didn't make a payment every single month, because after 30 years, when I turn 92 years old, that balance is not going to be $212. And remember my regular mortgage comparison where I said, okay, well, I'll wind up paying back like $500,000. It's different. In a reverse, $212,000 starting out with compounded interest is going to make that balance go to like $800,000 to $1 million. That's a lot of money. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of money going guaranteed to the bank. That's a lot of money. Okay, now in a reverse mortgage, it's insured by the federal government up to a certain amount. So if it doesn't go up to, if it goes up to $1 million, they might only be insured for like $700,000 of it. Okay, but that's still so much more than the $500 they got off of me that they didn't have that guarantee they were going to get. I could have jumped ship. But in a reverse, they've got that guarantee from the federal government. So no matter what, they're getting paid. So if they've got that chance of getting paid like $700,000, why in the world would the greedy bank, who doesn't care about you as a human being, they don't care about your story, they don't care about that you just lost your loved one, none of that matters to them, it's all about money. Why would they dare tell you, hey, if you make a payment, we're not going to be guaranteed this $700,000 in the future. If you make a payment, we might only make like $100,000 profit. That's it. They're not going to tell you that. They're in it to make money. It's a business, and I understand that aspect. But they should still give you that right to know you can make a payment. So here's where it comes to full circle. You're 62 years old. You're 72, you're 82, you're still making a mortgage payment. What do you have to show for it every single month that you make that payment? What do you have to show for it? A lower balance. That's it. And when crisis comes in and you can't make that payment anymore, when you lost your loved one, that spouse of 30, 40, 50 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and you also lose a portion of that income, it's a nightmare of stress and grief. But that stress nightmare is huge because it hits you in the face every single morning you wake up, and every time you look at that mail and see those bills that are still coming at you. When that loved one passes, those bills don't just disappear in the mail. They don't just whoop, wiped away, see you later, no more mortgage or half of it because that person was paying half. No, those bills are still present. And they just build, and they build so much more stress you do not need. In a reverse mortgage, you could still, 100% certainty, and I recommend it, make those payments. Treat it like a regular mortgage, but properly prepare yourself for those emergencies that come up. But live life more comfortably. Don't rob Peter to pay Paul, because in a reverse mortgage where you control the payments that you decide to make, whether they're 0 or 1,000 or whatever in the frequency, you can do the same thing you're doing right now, except you can take that full control away from the bank. So right now, instead of being under mom and dad's control, under lock and key, can't go out of your house, can't play ball, can't run in the streets and go out till the street lights come on, which I don't suggest anyways nowadays. But you can't do any of that because mom and dad tells you when you can go out and if you can go out at all. But in a reverse mortgage where you're making payments based on what you want to make, all of a sudden you got those keys. Somebody slipped that skeleton key under the door, and now you can open up the door, go outside and play and enjoy life and not worry about those struggles that are gonna come up 100% guaranteed. So in a reverse mortgage, when you make a payment, it knocks down your balance. It knocks it down just like a regular mortgage. So what's the difference between the two? Peace of mind. In a regular mortgage, you got no peace of mind because if you can't make that payment, you're in trouble. In a reverse mortgage, if 1 month you go, well, I can't make that payment this month. What payment? The payment you decided to make. If you can't make that one and you decide not to send anything in, are there any penalties? Are there any repercussions? Is somebody coming after your home? Are you going to get a threatening letter from the bank saying you were making payments on time and then all of a sudden you stopped? What happened? No, you're going to get a congratulations. Thanks for not making a payment because that's more interest now we can accrue compounded monthly to make the balance grow. And if you don't want to make payments in the future, don't do so. That's the kind of letter you're going to get from the bank because they're mad as hell you found out the truth. They're mad that you found out a way to beat them at their own game. So in a reverse mortgage, 100% you can pay it down just like you can in a regular mortgage. It's exactly the same thing. So do not be worried about that. But guess what? Don't believe me? Call the federal government. Double check everything I'm telling you. Call HUD. Can I make payments on a reverse? Absolutely. Call your reverse lender right now if you're already in a reverse and say, I'd like to make a payment. You don't, hypothetically say, I'd like to make a payment. Where do I send it to? They're going to give you the address. 7, 8, 9 years ago, they used to say, oh, no, you don't make a payment. They can't get away with that anymore. Too many people are finding out the truth that you can make a payment on it. And it will lower your balance, and you'll do exactly what you wanted to do, pay off that mortgage. I highly recommend it. But if you're already in a reverse mortgage, and you've been in it for quite some time, I'm not necessarily going to recommend making payments. It's a case-by-case scenario. So you need to call me at 1-800-952-PRAY, 1-800-952-7729, so we can examine it. There's no fee. We're just talking on the phone. But if you've been in it for quite some time and your balance is going up by like $1,500 a month, might not make sense. But I'm going to give you some food for thought on what you can do to try to preserve some of that equity. 1-800-952-PRAY, 1-800-952-7729. We're going to come right back with part 4 with the best investment you could possibly have as a senior that now is available. Sit tight, don't change that dial.